Hey guys, what's up? It's Emily. So I have some really exciting news. I actually bought a camera. Well, I didn't buy it. It's a birthday present. So I have an actual camera. Well, I had an actual camera. It just wasn't a good camera. So now I have a good camera. Yay for me! Today I'm going to be doing my March reads today. Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
What are you doing?
Filming a video right now.
You're what?
I'm filming a video right now.
You're what into the video?
I'm filming a video right now. I only managed to read 3 books this month, but I was reading 2 books really for school. So that took up like a lot of my reading time because if it's for school, I actually have to pay attention and analyze and look for things, which is difficult. And plus I've been really swamped with school. I'm in all honors classes, so I typically have a really big workload, so that's always really crazy and it's insanity right now. I did have spring break, which is probably why I was able to fit in that 3rd book, so thank the Lord for spring break. So yeah, let's get into it. The first book I read, I've actually been reading it since the very beginning of February. Is just the rate that my teacher is having us read it, that I was reading it for like most of March as well, and it was To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This is a very well-known novel. If you've never heard of it, I really don't know what to tell you, because it's a classic. And I actually thoroughly enjoyed this book. Typically, books I read for school, I really do not like. I just don't enjoy them. They're usually pretty stupid in my opinion. Like this year I read Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. And I hate John Steinbeck. I hate him with a burning passion. I have read Of Mice and Men, The Pearl, and I read maybe a chapter of The Red Pony, and they're all stupid. Like, there's nothing to really gain from his novels. I don't get any satisfaction in reading them. I don't really get any message in reading them. I don't get anything from them. They're stupid. And then we also read a book called Separate Peace, and I've talked about that before, where I threw the book on the ground, because that's how much I hated it. We also sort of read A Christmas Carol, which was fine. It was around Christmas, so it was in a Christmas-y mood at least. And then we read To Kill a Mockingbird. And I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. It is a very good book, and it's not difficult to read at all. It's like pretty easy to get through. It's about this town called Maycomb in the 1930s. So it's the Great Depression. Maycomb is in the South. So everything is very racist, basically, and it's about this trial that happens where there's this man named Tom Robinson is accused of raping a white woman named Mayella Ewell. And Scout, who is our main character, we are seeing it through her eyes as an older woman, but she's talking back on it. So it's basically one big flashback. And she is like a kid. She is, what? I think the oldest she gets really in the novel is like 9 or something. So she's very young. But her father, Atticus, he takes on the case of defending Tom Robinson. So it's this whole big thing, and Maycomb is a very small town, so this really shook up the town. There's also this mystery of the mysterious Boo Radley, who is also a very famous character. It did really kind of suck that I had to read this for school the first time I read it. Like, I had to annotate it, I had to keep looking for everything, and it was just terrible doing it that way, which I didn't really have fun like actually going to read it. It was kind of like a chore, like, ugh, I have to go read it. But overall, it was a great book, and I can totally understand why it is considered a classic and why we read it in school. I had really no problems like, oh, why on earth are we reading this? So that was really nice. The next book I read was also for school, and it's also a classic, but this was more of an independent novel project where we had to pick a book off of the AP reading list. So it had more freedom of what you could pick. So I picked Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I absolutely love Pride and Prejudice. I have seen the 2005 movie like a billion times. I have also seen Lizzie Bennet Diaries, which is a modern day retelling web series on YouTube, which is amazing. You should go check it out if you have not watched it. I've seen that web series a million times as well. Well, maybe like 3. That's not a million, but you know, it takes a little bit, so it's a lot. So I was very familiar with the material, and I love the story and the characters, so I was like, why not? Although I will probably be reading this again later in school, so people were like, why are you reading that? We're going to be reading it later. But hey, maybe this time, I won't even have to read the book because I already read it. Boom. Ugh, I love Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy. They're so cute. Anyway, I really enjoy Pride and Prejudice. I know a lot of people also really enjoy Pride and Prejudice. It does take a while to like get used to the like writing style because it's that old-timey language, which is a little like, it throws you off a little bit. And you kind of have to like sit down and actually focus on reading. It did take me longer than I wanted to read it, but I got it done nonetheless. The next book I read, oh my god, I had been wanting to read this for quite a while. Well, not really quite a while. Okay, well I wanted to read it for a while, but then I really wanted to read it since December. And that book is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. December is when I finished reading Empire of Storms, which is the most recent book in the Throne of Glass series. It's the second to last one, and oh my god, it left me in this mourning period that I can't even... So I was really craving Sarah J Maas, and I have heard so many people just rave about the series so much, and I was so excited, and I was so excited to read it, and I kind of sort of knew about like Rhysand and all the characters and stuff because people tell me things, and I also search on Pinterest things I shouldn't search. Ugh. So I decided to read this over spring break. Oh my god, it was so good. 5 out of 5 stars. I can't even, it's so good. The ACOTAR series, this is like putting in the acronym for ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses, and the second book is A Court of Mist and Fury, or ACOMAF, and the third book is ACOWAR, which is A Court of Wings and Ruin, which comes out May 2nd, I believe, which is really soon, so I'm excited. And her other series is the Throne of Glass series, which consists of Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, yeah, Queen of Shadows, and Empire of Storms. The last book comes out sometime. So this book is about this girl named Feyre who lives in this like fantasy land. It is not normal Earth, it is a fantasy book, and it involves with fae, which are fairies, but Sarah J Maas's fairies are not little Tinkerbell fairies. They are big, powerful, a lot of the time scary fairies. They have incredible powers and they're the best. So in this world, the continent of Prythian, I think it's how you say it, that's how what the pronunciation guide in the back says it's how it's pronounced, was at once a place where fae and humans kind of mingled and lived together. But then there was this whole fallout between the two races, basically, and they had a big war. And then there was this huge wall built, which gave more land to the fairies, or the fae, than the humans. And they signed this huge treaty, and it was a long like list of what fae and humans can't do to each other. But the fae had split their lands into courts. There's the spring court, the autumn court, the summer court, and the winter court. And then there's also the day court, the dawn court, and the night court. And each of these courts is ruled by a High Lord, who is supposed to be like super powerful and everything because of the High Lord and whatever. And then the humans just kind of, I don't know, they just kind of lived in towns and villages, and they're all basically really poor compared to the fae that live across this huge wall. So Feyre is a human living on the other side of this wall, and her family is very poor and they are starving, and her two older sisters kind of don't really help a lot with that, and her father is crippled and won't really help either. So she has to go out and hunt and take care of her family. So she's out hunting one day when she accidentally kills a fae. So the treaty says that if you kill a fae, you have to pay with your life. So Tamlin, who is the High Lord of the Spring Court, which is the closest to the wall, comes to like take to do that exchange of a life for life, when he takes, I guess, mercy on her and says that she can either die or come stay with him in the Spring Court forever. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and you can kind of see where that's going. And the second book, A Court of Mist and Fury, I believe is a Hades and Persephone retelling. Yeah, I have no idea what ACOWAR retelling is going to be. I haven't really looked into it yet, and I don't know. But I really love this series. Like, all the characters are great, and even the villains are great villains, and just the writing is beautiful. It's super easy to read. To me, Feyre is very relatable. The way she kind of thinks is sort of like mine. Currently reading ACOMAF. This doesn't have the cover on it because I'm reading it, but it's huge. And I can't wait to see how big ACOWAR is. These are the books I read in the month of March. I really enjoyed all the books I read this month, and I'm hoping that I can start reading more soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Alright, bye guys.